Good afternoon, everybody. Good to see everybody here. So, are we going up more, or the market consolidating? Are we going down more? That's what I'm going to share with you. Because let's talk about, and I'm going to show you exactly. Let's bring up Discord so we can talk about what we do before the market happens in the morning, pre-market. Let me just go here, and we'll talk about just my channel right now. We can highlight my trades, my last two trades. Well, we won't highlight my trades right now. Let's talk about the channel and what's going on. So this morning, pre-market, I'm telling people that the SPY could potentially, let's see where this is. There we go. Sorry for the delay, everybody. All right, so, no, that's still early. Okay, so pre-market, the SPY is getting beat up. We saw the market close at 377 the other day. I'm saying as we gapped up, we are more than likely to fill the gap at 370 on the way down. Did I think it would happen today? Not necessarily, but that's what you plan your position. Me, I was in TQQQ puts. I was in Roblox puts. I secured profit this morning. Anybody that watched yesterday's stream probably secured profit as well. But let's just get into the action for today, okay? And then we'll talk about where the market's going to end up because you want to know that as well. All right, so 1046, the SPY had already touched $370 and change. I was telling people that the next support line, because it's very important to understand the support levels on the SPY. So the next support level was 372. We bounced off that pretty quickly. And I said, if we bounce and pass 373, we'll hit 375. Well, within 30 minutes, we hit 375. So when I update the market and tell you what I'm looking at during the day, it's here not to tell you you've got to be buying this or selling this. I share what I'm doing. I share my entry points. I share when I secure profit and why I secure profit. And we'll talk about my trades for today as well. Again, if you have questions, ask them on the side. Let me know what you're in, what you're thinking about, and I'll tell you my predictions and what I'm thinking about as far as the market goes. But okay, so the SPY is currently, let's just go where it is right now, and then we talk about the levels of the SPY. SPY currently is at 376.12. So what's probably happening? It's probably consolidation. I hate to say it because I am a bear in this market, but what's happening after we saw the purchasing on Monday, the intense buying on Tuesday, this morning the Dow was down 400 points and it swung back to green. Now, does that mean we're going green for the rest of the week? No. I see bullish sentiment in the market. I'm personally still a bear, so there's going to be some chaos back and forth. So the same way we traded last week, and again, when the Fed made its decision, after we heard the Fed raising rates Thursday ago, the SPY went from 377 all the way down to 373, and then it traded between 373 and 363 for 7 straight trading days. So understand, when we spiked up on Monday and then Tuesday, and now we're trading closer to the 378 range on the SPY, that's the range I expect the SPY to reject, 378, and this entire rest of the week. So we've got Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday remaining on this week. So you're looking for entries. Okay, if you want to be bearish in the market, you're looking for the SPY to reject 378. If it breaks 378, 381 is the next step up. Now, I think we're going to be trading within a range, literally, for the next 3 or 4 days. I don't think the market's going to capitulate, meaning I don't think the SPY is going to drop down and we're going to be like 358 tomorrow or the next day. I also don't think the SPY is going to go gangbusters higher, and then all of a sudden people are like, yeah, man, 389 on the SPY, the S&P is going to be 3,900. Yeah, that's what's happening. The market's going to be strong. That's bullshit. Anybody that tells you they're sure one way or the other, complete bullshit, okay? What's going to happen is we're going to trade in between a range. We traded that way for 7 straight days, trading within a 14-point range on the SPY. So understand, on the way down, I think we could potentially hit 366 again, 367 again. On the way up, I think we're going to hit 381. So if you go 381 to 367, that is a 14-point range, okay? Again, 381 on the high side, 367 on the low side, 14-point range. I'm saying that's what I'm expecting for the next 3 to 5 to 7 trading days. So you could technically go out the end of this week. You have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's 3 days. They'll add all of next week. That's 5 days. So between right now, as you watch me at 2:15 or 2:05 p.m., going out till next Friday, and I'll give you an exact date on that because I suck with dates, right? I don't know if you guys do the same thing. I think my options expire one day and then another. So going through October 14th, which is the middle of the month, I'm saying the SPY is not going to go higher. I'll just give myself 1 point of cushion here. 382 on the top side. So yes, the SPY is probably sitting at like 376 right now, 377. I don't think we're have much further to go to the upside. We had the buying the first 2 days of the fourth quarter. Then you saw what I believe is the real market action this morning. And then you have the retail traders that are buying in. The market was minus 400 points. The market was telling you it was overvalued. The 2-year, the 10-year, the US dollar, all going up, making it more expensive to invest in our markets. And yet the Dow goes from minus 400 points back to green for a little. It's probably like minus 70 points or 80 points now. Let's just check it out because it's always good to make guesses. I would say 77 points. Yeah, the Dow's down 60 points, just bumped a little. NASDAQ's down 70 points. So, I mean, is there a chance we go green today? I don't think so. I think if the markets turn green for a blip like they did possibly an hour ago, I think we're going right back red, right where we are right now. In fact, if I was going to guess where we'd finish today, I would say we'd finish today, Dow would be down triple digits, and NASDAQ is going to be down triple digits as well. So, again, we're down 72. I think today, right now, it's going to get worse from where we are. So let's just see where the SPY is right now so I can see if I'm going to be right. 376 and a quarter. All right, that's where the SPY is, 376 and a quarter. So I'm going to predict that we're going to finish right on one of the cusps, right on one of the balancing points where the SPY can either go north or south, which would be 375 on the dot. So that's my prediction. We're going to fall. Now, it doesn't mean the markets can't go up. We could be talking right now and the markets can go up and they can shoot up to 378 and then they can shoot down to 374. That shit happens quickly. Again, this morning, when the SPY was at 372, I'm like, if it passes 373, it's going to skyrocket to 375 like that. Within 30 minutes of that post, that's exactly what we saw. The SPY was 372 and a half. It spit 373. It went back down for like a smidget, and then it skyrocketed all the way to 375, where it did what? It rejected. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. If you're bullish on the market, that's cool, and you're holding on to a good call position, and it's going up, but you don't want to ride the elevator from your position being worth 50, 60% to down, okay? Let's get into the lesson for today, okay? The lesson for today is, I think I'm a great trader. Do you think you're a great trader? I hope you said yes. If you think you're a great trader, first off, tell me below and tell me why you're a great trader. But here's how to improve your trading. Me, what do I do on entry point? I've got to learn to bid 20% under whatever I pay. Let's just go yesterday. I bought Roblox puts. I paid $1.24 was entry. I said, don't pay more than me. In fact, try and pay less than me. Now, from $1.24, that shit went all the way down to like 80 cents or $80 a contract. So if I'm off $45 on my contracts and I pay at $1.24, I'm off $45. I'm off like 34%. Holy shit, I'm off 34%. So if you pick up your phone and so many times you think you're calling the bottom of whatever position, and it happens to me all the time, it doesn't matter what I'm calling, if I'm calling a SPY rebound or a SPY put or whatever it is, I always think I'm calling the best entry. Oh shit, I'm about to call it. It's going to turn around. I'm going to have instant gratification. No. So that's the point. When you have an idea, go with it. Just tweak it a little. Okay, your options are going to expire Friday. Great, there's going to be more momentum moving. Your options expire a week or two out, then maybe you only go 12% off your bid. Again, I'll give you an example. I'm going to buy a contract for $150. I'm going to look to save 20%. 20% of $150 is $30. So instead of me typing in my bid, I'm going to buy 10 contracts at $150. I'm going to put in $1,150. No, I'm going to bid $1.20 per contract. And that way, if I get the contract, rather than looking at my phone going, holy shit, how am I down 22%? I'm going to be like, oh, look, I just made the purchase. Oh shit, I'm down 2.5%. And then within 20 minutes, I'll be like, oh, look, I'm up 14%. I got good entry. So the same is true when you're on the way out. And I'm going to give my example. My Roblox puts that I was in this morning that I sold, I could have got 45 extra percent per contract. I sold, the high on the day was 45% higher. I made a profit. I could have made 45 more percent, but I'm not looking to call 45%. What I'm saying is, let's say I sold at $1.30, which is the case. Well, shit, I should have put in 20 cents higher, like 20%. It's like 18.8%, but let me put in 20 cents higher per contract. If it sells, great. If it doesn't sell, I'm still in the position. Guess what? My position expires on Friday. So it's not like I'm shaking in my boots saying I'm about to lose the position this afternoon. So instead, I put in, instead of $1.30, $1.50, I had about 38 contracts at the time. So that $50 times 38, that's $1,900. Well, shit, that's more than my account made today. The $1,900 I missed out on is more than what my account was profitable this morning. And I said the market was going to do exactly what it said. When the market was 377 yesterday on the live stream, I said, we're going to touch 370. We touched 370 today. So if you were in puts, you could have went from 90 cents all the way up to $3.60 this morning. Me, I was holding my two positions, deciding when I was going to exit out. Now, sometimes when the market's going in your direction, you've got to give yourself more than enough time to be right. So again, look for 20% on the way in. If you're trading bad, and I saw someone make a comment on the side, I'm the worst trader in Discord. Guess what? If your trades are down 20% at any given time, the next time you're going to buy something, instead of telling yourself you're going to be wrong and you're going to pay $75 for the contract, let's say, you take 20% of that. You say, that's 15 bucks. Instead of offering to pay $75, I'm actually going to pay $60, and you put in your bid. So even if you consider yourself the worst trader on Discord, guess what? You're going to stop losing an extra 20% on all of your trades. And then when you exit out, let's say you're the worst trader. This is me, for example. Guilty, okay? Paper hands, scissor hands. I like a trade, and then 5 minutes after I do something, either buy or sell my trade, I have remorse. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have bought yet. I should have waited for a better entry. Or after I sell, I go, shit, I sold. It's about to skyrocket. I'm such an idiot. I didn't even follow my strategy. My strategy this morning was for the SPY to go down to 370. I sold my put positions when the SPY was sitting at 373 and change. So my strategy was for the SPY to go down to 370, even if it touched that 370 spot 99. My strategy was for the SPY to have 370 in front of it. Yet I managed to sell when the SPY was still sitting at 373, knowing that at least it had to go down to 372 because that's either support or resistance. So again, for anybody late joining, okay, you want to write down these numbers, okay? You could be the worst trader in the world, and I will tell you not to enter into a position or exit out of a position until you either see support, okay, because the market's going to get better, or resistance. So your support and resistance levels, we will go to the SPY right now. So we could say, we'll go start at the low level, 364.50. Again, we're not close to that. We're standing at 376 right now, but 364.50. Next one up, 368, okay? If we break under 375, 372, you're looking at 368. I know I talk about 370 because that's a mental thing. People see a zero on the back of it, and that's a mental thing. Just like 380 is a mental number. Even though 380 is not any supply or demand region, it's usually about 381.50 to 382. You'll see it hover if it gets to 380, and it'll hover there because it's more of a psychological issue. Every 10 points, every 100 points. So again, then there was supply zone on the SPY at 372. Well, it got eaten up. How do we know? Because the SPY shot up from 372 to 373 to 375. Then it has to contract a little. All right, that's called consolidation because nothing goes straight up or down. So now you're sitting at the 375 level, and then you go the next level up to 378. It didn't make it there. It made it all the way to 377.50, and then it came down, okay? So you're going to enter in a trade. First thing you're going to have to do is get strategy. You say to yourself, we'll do the bullish scenario. The bullish scenario is Monday, Tuesday was inflow. Today, the Dow was down 400 points. It even went green for a little bit, and you say to yourself, I'm bullish on the SPY. Okay, so if you want to get bullish on the SPY or bullish on the TQQQ, or you want to get bullish on the QQQ, you don't just jump in. You don't say, now I'm going to jump in. This is awesome. I just developed a strategy because Matt helped me develop a strategy because he said if I thought the buying on Monday and Tuesday was going to continue, I'm a bull. So if that is your theory, that is not my theory, but if that is your theory, then you're not buying in your SPY calls and going out yet. The SPY's sitting at 376.50. I wouldn't be buying SPY calls until it came down to at least 375, because it would probably bounce off 375. So then you go out 2 weeks on your phone, you go, okay, October 18th or whatever the date is, and you look it up and you go, I'm going to buy this contract. Now, if the contract is currently selling for $400 for one contract, you would not pay that. You'd say, first off, I want the SPY to go down. That would make my contract worth $320. And then you say, I want people to scare sell to me as it's going down. I want good value. So instead of $320, you say, okay, I'll pay $265. I'll pay 20% less. If you get it, congratulations. If you don't, that's it. You move on to another strategy, your next trade. You could trade all day, every day, except for weekends, obviously. But you understand what I'm saying. You don't need to be calling your market entry right now when the SPY is in between numbers. It's not even, I mean, it just had a nice sell-off and a nice purchase all within the last 10 minutes, which means it doesn't have a sense of direction yet. If it goes to 377.54, which is the high, I expect it to reject. If it breaks through and we see breakthrough 378, then we're likely to go to 381. Again, even if that happens today, I'll give you scenarios. Say we close at 380, 381, 378. I'm expecting the same shit we saw today, tomorrow. Meaning, if we close at 378, I think we wake up in the morning and the SPY is 374. Okay? If we close at 375, another scenario, because I think it's maybe more accurate that we're going to close around 375 today, I think we wake up at 373 on the SPY. Whatever we close at, I'm thinking we're not gapping down because it's not a huge gap, but I'm thinking the SPY opens up off like 0.4% tomorrow, like somewhere between 0.4 and 0.5% tomorrow. Again, it doesn't mean we're going to see a red day. You have to follow the flow in the market. Now, we've got one of the best analysts that follow the flow. Romeo on Discord is telling people the ranges. He's doing his live streams. He's on vacation. But anyway, so if I was going to say what is my position on the market right now, here's what I do, okay? I'm going to open up this part, okay? I'm going to go down. Let's just go down. No, I'm not so great at these. Okay, here we go. Going in the right direction. There's okay, flows and algorithm. There we go. So then we'll see if anybody looked up my market data for me. And so far they did not. They did not. All right, I'm looking for a net flow of the market. So we can type it in together. So I would do TR-net flow and market. Oh, that's easy enough. I'm telling you, I want to see the net flow of the market. I pull it up nice and big. I make sure you guys can see it. I give it the full screen effect. And then I tell you what we're seeing, okay? Now, the top line, the red line, okay, that's premiums for puts. So what that's telling you is even what you're seeing in the market right now with the SPY at 376.75, this is extremely bearish for the market. The fact that people are paying the most for put premiums, okay? Then you have the price, and then you have your call premiums. Now, your call premiums did go up for a time as the market was rallying. Understand, the market just rallied from 373 to 377. But right now, the market's hovering there. Your premiums for puts are going up, and your calls are staying flat. So that's telling me right now, that's how I break down the market. It's telling me right now that as the market sits at, like, let's say just under 377, 376.84, I'm going to predict end of day, we're going to finish down from where we are now. So if we're close to 377 and I say, okay, well, we know there's power hour coming up at 3 o'clock, probably see a good move. I actually think we're probably going to finish. I'm going to reassess my prediction. I'm going to say the SPY finishes at 374.77. Okay. Now, if I am damn close, please, everybody come back tomorrow. Let's just see if we have any other questions. So if you've been, okay, I have been nothing in November puts taking 20%. You seem to be able to call right up or down. Let's show this real quick. Here's your comment or question. Okay. Able to buy calls or ride it up. Okay. So here's the catch. You have a strategy. The strategy is the market's overvalued. So you get into puts. When you make 20%, you exit out. You wait for the market to spike and you do the same thing. Great strategy, because I already think the market's going to trade in between a specific range. Let's say 381 on the SPY. I mentioned this in the first part of the video. 381, which is still 1% higher, all the way back down to, let's say, 370 flat. So it's going to trade within a 4% range for the next few days. So every time the market gets to the tippy top and you see it reject, and again, today it rejected at 377.54. So I would take my position in SPY puts, and I don't think you have to go out till November because you're paying a lot of money. Keep in mind, we're October, 2nd, 3rd, 4th now, something like that. You can go out a week. You can go out 1 week's time, 5 trading days. You'll have more than enough time. The only thing that would get you if you go out 5 trading days is if you buy puts and the market shoots up to 400 in the next 5 trading days. The SPY, the S&P. Highly unlikely. It's more likely, if I had to say, the market's either going to shoot up 20 points or shoot down 20 points. It's more likely it's going to shoot down. Now, I don't think either one's happening because in order for the SPY to shoot down 20 points, and we'll say go back to 357 where we were on Friday. We were at 357 on the low on the SPY on Friday. If we were to go back to 357, you'd have to have a major occurrence. Taiwan would have to provoke China. There would have to be like some type of leaked information about like nuclear weapons coming out of Russia. Or there would have to be a gas or energy issue covering Europe. So that's what I'm thinking. So as far as, let's go just end it with predictions. Again, the SPY is sitting at right now at 377. I do believe it would reject 378. So me, in my planning process, I'm going to go up. And instead of playing the SPY, I like to play the TQQQ. So I'm going to bring that up so I can show you what it is. Let me just stop the screen sharing. I'm getting better at this. Let me share a little for you guys. All right, TQQQ. And I'll explain the reason why I like the TQQ. So, I got to add it to the stream. Boom. Okay, so first off, why I like the TQQQ. Let's talk about what it is. All right, so we know the SPY is the market, right? The S&P, the SPY is the market. The QQQ, just 3 Qs, is your tech ETF, your tech-related ETF. Apple makes up 7%. Google and Microsoft probably make up like 5% and 6%. Actually, Apple makes up like 13%. Then you have Google makes up like 11%, Microsoft like 9%. It's very condensed with the top tech companies making up the QQQ. So I like to play either the TQQQ. Now the TQQQ is basically 3 times the QQQ. So QQQ or tech or NASDAQ goes up 2%. And we've seen it go up 3%, let's just say. On Monday and Tuesday, it was up 3%. So you take 3 and you multiply it by 3, and that is your movement in the TQQQ or the SQQQ, all right? Now people say, well, what's the difference? Well, the SQQQ is the bearish sentiment. You think tech is going down, you would buy calls in the SQQQ. Now the reason I like to focus on the first one, the TQQQ, is it's at $22.38. I'm comfortable with its movements. I know that some days it could go down from like $21 to $23. That's a major move, a 10% move. So again, I know that tech and the market, they've had 3% days, 3% movement days 19 times this year. Out of every trading day this entire year, 19 days, the market's either been up 3% or down 3%, 3% plus. So those are the days that the TQQQ, SQQQ move 3 times what the QQQ moves. So me, as long as I'm calling it correctly and I see where tech is topping out, and again, I like to use Apple as a tracker. You use Apple sitting at 145. Now, a lot of people think Apple is actually worth less than that. Maybe it's worth 128 based on its sales numbers and their forecasting next year. So I've heard 127, 128. And then I've heard other people say Apple should be 181, 107. The true tale is Apple's one of the better companies out there. There's no freaking doubt about it. If I had to pick one stock, just one stock that I'd be involved with, the whole market, it would probably be Exxon. No, it would probably be an energy company. But literally, if I had to choose, if there wasn't an energy crisis and I just had to pick one stock for the next 5 years to be in, it wouldn't be Meta Platforms. It wouldn't be streaming service like Netflix. Google's very good because Google has so many revenue sources. Amazon, because they're the number 1 retailer in the entire world. But Apple, because Apple iPhones are in demand. Apple Macs, when I used to meet people, if they were a Mac person, they would have such loyalty to the Apple community. All right, so anyway, we can talk about the TQQQ. Let me pull it up, all right? So I'm going to talk about a couple trades that I looked at here. Again, I was bearish going here. So let me tell you what I do to enter into trade. Let me make sure you guys can see it with me. Okay. When I enter into a trade, now this is important. There are 3 units of measurement I use. Okay. The first 1 minute, I use this as a sniper, meaning I'm sniping it out. You guys can't see me. I'm showing myself as a sniper right now. But I use it to indicate, oh shit, I think there's going to be some buying volume. So we'll look here earlier this morning, huge green candle, heavy volume right here. The TQQQ was at 22.21. What happened shortly thereafter within 30 minutes? It shot up to 22.50. So you're talking about a whole 1.5% move, probably 20% on your options. So that's your sniper. 3 minute, okay, is a little more compact. It tells you when the movements are coming. You can see there was a movement coming right here, okay? Then there was a sell-off into the high, which was 22, so we came back down. But again, volume's pretty decent. Volume is still pretty decent. So I do think the market's going higher from where we are right now. I could look at the 5 minute and say there's a bit of a pullback. We made it all the way to 22.41. If I was going to enter puts, I would be thinking about it right here, because if you're looking at it, we're kind of at the top for the day. So the TQQQ is at 22.44, which it was a minute ago when we transferred over. I guess it's going down just a little, 22.37. So 7 cents, not a hell of a lot, but 7 cents is your entry. When you're at 22.42 and you're buying a put, I understand you can't see me, so you can't see my hand gestures, and you're buying a put, and instead of paying $142 and you want to get in, you say, okay, we're close to the top. You say to yourself, okay, $7 under that. You don't have to take the 20% every time. But the point is, with that plus or minus margin, you just got into a trade. Now, again, if I'm holding these TQQ puts and I'm in, where am I looking for them to go down to? Well, I'm saying there was a huge gap up this morning from 21.50, and now we're sitting closer to 22.50. So again, if I'm just going to a day trade and I'm going into, and I would feel very comfortable if TQQQ was at 22.44, which it was 2 minutes ago, and I wasn't talking to all of you, and I got into some puts there, I would buy my first position. I would buy 5 or 6 contracts. If the TQQQ goes up, the market goes higher, and the SPY spikes to 378, TQQQ will be at 22, like 50, 60. I would probably buy about 6 to 8 more contracts. I would have maybe 12 contracts. The point is, my strategy would be, as it sits at 22.50, I think it's going down to 21.50 sometime before the close of business tomorrow. Again, tomorrow's only Thursday. I would buy until Friday. These are weekly contracts. So I'm going out until Friday. I'm saying my exit, even though the market could get wrecked more or it could shoot up higher, I think we're going to trade within a range. So I've already told you, I think maybe 381 would be the top side, but so far we haven't even seen 378. It hasn't broken 378. So I would say 378. And on the way down, we haven't broken 370. So I would say my estimation going into tomorrow is that this SPY trades between 370 and 378. Well, okay, similar range to today. What does that tell you? History tends to repeat itself. So if there's some good catalyst out and it's going to push up the markets higher because the Feds are becoming more dovish or some shit like that, then yes, we could break to the next level. But until that comes out, the range is going to be 378, and we're pretty close to it on the top end. And I believe 370, maybe 372 until it breaks one way or the other tomorrow. So if I'm saying, okay, I see the SPY going back to 372, let's just say that's on the light side. Say we don't even touch 370, just 372. Well, the TQQQ will be back at $21.44. And if my exit is $21.50, then boom, I'm probably going to make 60 to 80% of the trade. Again, I'm watching it right now. I do not have a position. It's at 22.35, and we're sitting at about 2:30 p.m. So I will watch. If it spikes up, again, I'm looking for my entry to be in around $22.50, which is 11 cents higher. It's not a whole lot, hell of a lot. It's like 0.5%. That's what I'm in. Even though I think the market's going to go down, I'm not going to grab a position here. Now, if I see it skyrocket, as I'm talking to you now, it's 22.44 again. Let's say it shoots up 20 cents, and all of a sudden it's 22.60, and the SPY is sitting at 379 while we're all interacting here. Well, shit, then I'm going to reevaluate. I'm going to say if the SPY goes to 379, and I said the SPY might top out at 381, then I'm not going to get into puts until I see the top. Once it breaks through resistance, and resistance would be 378. If it breaks 378.50, I'm staying away from a bearish trade, okay? I don't think it's going to break 378.50. I don't even think this SPY is going to break 378. But we are sitting at 377.06. Again, I'm not entering puts right now because I actually think the market could go a whole 0.25% higher. And if the TQQQ goes up 0.2% higher, then that would go to like 2270. So again, if I'm going to take a bearish position, I'm waiting for the best entry. So 2270, 2269. I mean, I'll give you a specific example since I'm using it. The high was 2250. Okay. The high on the SPY is 377.54. So I already think we can go $1 higher than the current high. So before it closes, we're 230 now. Sometime in the next 30 minutes, I think we're going up higher. Okay. From that higher point, I think we'll have a little sell-off in the last 20 minutes of the market. So I think we're going to 378 on the SPY, and then I think we're going to retract back down, and I think we'll close at 375.70 something on the SPY. Okay? The point is, if I jump in at the wrong time, I will look at my phone, and my position will be down 22%. And then when I'm correct and the markets go down, let's say tomorrow, instead of being up 30%, I'll only be up like 18%. So the point is, secure the best entry. Again, right now, TQQQ, the high on the day is 2250. So I would look to see if the SPY or the TQQ breaks out. Again, SPY seems to be rejecting 377, but it can easily break through. So again, it's sitting at 377 flat, 377.54 is the high. I'm not going bear on the market until I see it reject. As long as it flickers around the top, well, that's too risky. It's too risky for you. It's too risky for me. No questions? All right, that was my time for today. Please join me tomorrow, but bring questions. Ask me, say, hey, I'm on X on this. Here's my strike price. Here's my strike date. What do you think? Would you add, subtract, remove the position, whatever it is? Let's talk about it. If something's going on in the third world and you say, hey, do you think this will influence oil or energy? Okay, what I do each day, I start the day off. I look at the 2-year interest rate, the 10-year interest rate, oil, and the US dollar. Based on those factors, I determine whether I'm going to be bullish or bearish on the market that day. And then I develop a strategy. So I hope that helps everybody. Again, I'll use the 1, 3, 5, and 15 minute. And that's how I evaluate my trades.